So, you've learnt a bit of basic database management and how to create a table, create links between tables, and even create a semi-functioning database. But the main meat of SQL is in its command system and its syntax, and how it allows so many different ways of manipulating data, creating data, and then modifying it and deleting it. So I thought it'd be a good point to make a short video on how to exactly use SQL and what kind of commands you can use. One thing to preface this entire episode is the fact that SQL is a server-side language, so if you want to really get a go of it, you have to install it on a server, of course. But if you wanted to give SQL a go and try things out with it first, then I would highly recommend the W3 SQL Try Editor, as it's an online simulator, so you don't need to download anything and you can just simply go to the website and give it a go. I'd say it's pretty useful in terms of learning SQL and actually getting some hands-on experience with it before installing it on a server and getting going. So let's get started. As you can see here, the simulator comes with a few tables pre-built, and we'll start off with one of the most simple commands in SQL, which is simply just pulling data and displaying it for us. So we'll start off with select command, and what we start here is with the keyword select, and this is saying to SQL, can we please have some of the records from a certain table. Now the next parameter you pass is the field you want to return, so you could return the name, the age, the date of birth, but in this case we want to pull an entire record, so you want to pull every aspect of fact about a specific record, and to do this we used a wildcard or an asterisk, and this informs SQL that we want to pull every single record pertaining to every single field pertaining to a single record. Now we use the keyword from. This tells the SQL that we're about to supply it with the parameter telling what table we want to pull the information from. Then using a square bracket we enter the name of the name of the table we want to pull data from. And now we simply, all we have to do is just run the command and it shall pull all 91 records, and as you can see, number of records 91 records. We have every single record within the customers table. Now, sometimes when you're working with PHP or working with something else, you might not want to pull every single record of a table. You might want to whittle your search results down a little bit. So what you can do is use the keyword where. Now you can supply specific search criteria to find something that you want. So we could go where customer ID equals 55, and it should provide us with the record which has the customer ID equal to 55. Say for example your search criteria brings back multiple results, so we could go where, say we want to use specific search criteria which will return multiple search records. We'll use the keyword where country equals Germany, and here we go, we've been returned every single record where the country is equal to Germany. Now we can say for example there was multiple records, we could always do order by let's say customer ID. By default this shall do it in ascending order as it already is, but if you wanted to do it in descending order you could use the keyword desc and it will show you the results in descending order. And there you go, that's pretty much all there is to do with the select statement. You can pull any bit of information and apply specific search criteria. You can apply AND statements, so you could do where country equals Germany and customer ID equals 39, and it'll get you that. Yeah, it's, as I said, it's rather powerful, and you can just pile stuff on and you get what you want. So moving on to the next type of command that I'll be showing you today is the drop table command. Now it's a bit more of a dangerous command as it doesn't ask your permission before doing so, so when you get ready to run this command be ready to drop whatever you're talking about. So drop table, and we'll go drop table customers, and when we run this command the table's now gone. As you can see, it is no longer present. Now say for example we wanted to update a command, like update a record. We could go to update, we can select anything we want from the table category, so select asterisk from categories. There we go. And now we have every single record in the categories, and say we wanted to update one of the records from the categories. So we can use the keyword update, and then we say what table we want to update. So we want to update the categories table, and within that table we want to set the category name equal to a new value. So we want to set it to let's say cheese, where the category ID is equal to 1. And if we run this command, you can see changes are made to the database. So if we quickly just do this, we can see that now that record has been changed to cheese. So you now know how to select records, drop a table, and update records. If you were into creating a new table from scratch, you also have this command, create table, pretty self-explanatory, and we can call it test table, open bracket, and now we create the various fields for the table. As far as go designing databases, you want to refer back to the last video, but here we'll give the basic overview of how to create tables. So you provide a form name, then a field type, so we'll give an integer which has a maximum of 20 digits. We give it the rule not null. This means that when creating this record, it cannot be null. You cannot have a record which does not have an ID, which makes enough sense. Then we can create another field, so we can just call this one name, give it a varchar, which remember is just simply just a string of 30 characters, and you can give it another field. And there's various other, like, you can look them up yourself, but there's various different variable types, much like any new programming language. And then what's always important to remember when creating a field is to remember the last element within creating a field should be the primary key. And the primary key is the key which you will use to link other records to this table in the future if you want. It's always a good idea though to always have a primary key no matter what table you're making. So we can go user ID is our primary key. We close those brackets and now we can run. And there we go. The database has been created and we now have test table. So now we have a table. You might be wondering, how do we actually insert a record into the table? Well, once again, it's fairly simple. All we need to do is use the command insert into the table name, test table. Then we need to say what order we're going to supply the parameters in. So we want to go name, or in actual fact, what would be a better idea, user ID, name, and that should do actually. We'll leave the rest of the fields blank, we just won't use them, and then we can input the tag values and enter a name, well, ID and a name, and when we hit OK, and here you go, you can see that we have inserted one record into our database. And there you go, that's pretty much all of the basic SQL commands you really need to know, and anything else can just be picked up along the way. As I said though, SQL is it's a simple programming language. All of the commands are very plain English, like insert into, select from. It's a very simple language to learn, but has a great deal of power. So in summary, that is basic SQL commands.